It's been a weird conference, full of ghosts, full of phantoms and imagined enemies.
You said, it's no wonder Labour seems so relaxed about taxing meat. So Keir Starmer doesn't eat it, and Ed Miliband is clearly scarred by his encounter with a bacon sandwich.
Actually,
they're not proposing a meat tax.
The point is actually very serious. So some of the things that Labour are proposing are incredibly hard for working families. So whether you have things
What's
like
meat tax, that's what you're saying here.
well, so the
Or just plain weird stuff. It would include woke, wouldn't it?
I want hormone-injected beef from New Zealand, well, not New Zealand, from Australia. I've eaten beef in Australia, it was absolutely delicious. There's nothing wrong with it.
This has been a conference with energy occasionally in all the wrong places. A conference where the leader has been curiously absent. A series of auditions for what comes next. Sometimes saying things that only a few years ago would have imagined fringe or eccentric.
Stands up and fights. And when our nation stands up and fights, other nations stand up and fight. And they stand
People
up.
with luxury beliefs will flock to Labour at the next general election because that's the way to get the kind of society they want. The migrants coming in won't be taking their jobs. In fact, they're more likely to have them mowing their lawns or cleaning their homes.
And that's because it's been a conference defined by a gradual shift to the right. It's been happening for a long time. Close your eyes. Among all the talk of HS2, of culture wars, tax, Europe, you could have been at a UKIP conference. Like so many right-of-centre parties across Europe, the Tory Party has changed and is changing. Less of the centre, more of the right, often the radical right at that.
Achieve the objective.
Oh my God, you've even got the Donald Trump thumbs up.
No, he got it from me.
Nigel, why are you getting these crowds?
I've no idea. Could it be because of ideas?
You reckon?
Yeah.
What's happened to the Tory party? Is it that the Tory party has moved towards you, or you've moved towards the Tory party?
I haven't changed. I haven't moved for years. I've been utterly consistent for 20 years on the things that I believe and I campaign for. And interestingly, a lot of my views are at the centre ground of public opinion.
You're loving it, aren't you? You're revelling in this. I can just see your face.
I enjoy life, whatever I do.
No, you don't. No, when Coots debank you, you don't love that. Well, you probably did, actually.
But finally, was Sunak's day. Even Farage couldn't crash that. His first leader's speech as party leader, perhaps his last, addressing a party for whom he was second choice and chose someone else. It was a conference dominated entirely, accidentally, by HS2, and Number 10 tried to make the best of it, making the cancellation a sign of strength, not weakness.
I say to those who backed the project in the first place, the facts have changed. And the right thing to do when the facts change is to have the courage to change direction.
It will now mean that if Labour don't resurrect it, our high-speed rail will extend no further than Birmingham, in a technology perfected decades ago when countries like France and Japan have used it across their countries. But this was about politics. He wants something to say to the towns who voted Conservative in 2019, which HS2 wouldn't touch, not least because, to those arguing the party needs to cut tax, he was resolute.
I know you want tax cuts, I want them too, and we will deliver them. But the best tax cut we can give people right now is to halve inflation and ease the cost of living.
And though by comparison to his ministers, Sunak didn't talk much about the culture war, there was this, one of the biggest applause lines of the speech.
And we shouldn't get bullied into believing that people can be any sex they want to be. They can't. A man is a man and a woman is a woman. That's just common sense.
And announcements too, on ending smoking for young people and replacing A-levels and T-levels, not that there's any time in this parliament for either. It all reached a climax with Sunak placing himself as the change.
Everyone, be in no doubt, it is time for a change, and we are it. Thank you.
So Rishi Sunak there setting himself up as the change candidate despite 13 long years of Conservative
government. He was trying to thread the eye of the needle there, saying he's taking long-term decisions for a better future, whilst at the centrepiece of his speech is the decision to cancel the biggest infrastructure project in this country, terminating right here in Manchester. Sunak says that he'll use the money instead to spend on a whole suite of different transport projects across the North and Midlands. The question is, will anyone believe him? The party faithful, desperate for some sense of who this man is, were pleased. Hello, madam. Just wondering what you thought about the speech.
I thought it was excellent. I think it's a good reset, shows we've still got a lot of fight in us and we've got a lot of hard work to do, but I think it's particularly good for the North. I have HS2 being built in my county ward and I think it's absolutely the right decision.
So, Dean, how are you feeling about that? You've got to go and sell that on the doorsteps next year at some point. How are you feeling about it?
Well, actually, it'll be an easy sell because what I'm hearing in the speech today is what I've been hearing on the doorstep. They want politicians to talk about what will really matter on the doorstep to them in their lives, in their jobs, in their schools' education. And I think what we're hearing is actually a truthfulness to what can be delivered.
Gents, I can see you're all firm. Were you all ready for Rishi?
Of course we are.
As a young person, I think the Conservative Party's values are the most important thing for young people right now. It's the most relevant thing because the Labour Party are not promising to wrestle control of the economic situation we are in. And it's not because of us, it's because of the pandemic.
But are you worried about...
Because the whole world right now is in a mess. We are trying to deal with this as a party in the most sincere way we can. And as a young person about to leave university, I'm scared that I'm not going to be able to get a job. I'm scared I'm not going to be able to afford a house. And I might have to move halfway across the country just to have a living.
But the Conservatives, is that not the Tories' fault? They've been in office for most of your life.
The Conservatives are the only party who are promising to try and fix that with their policies.
But you're saying that's all happened to you. They've been in office most of your life.
Yes, but...
There's 12 months to an election. This is a party which has been 20 points behind in the polls for the last 12. Sunak's pitch is he's the man who fixes things, who makes the long-term choices. His biggest challenge is to explain how not doing things, be they HS2 or deferring plans on net zero, can possibly accord with that. In the meantime, this is a party thinking less about a full Sunak term in office than about what happens when they're out of it.
The Newsagents. This is a Global Player original podcast.